Hello, Charles. Is that Charles Nyoni?
Yes, speaking.
Okay, this is Fungai Maboreke, Zambezi Press.
Okay.
Okay, so now tell us what happened to Itai Dzamara. I know that he was abducted this past Monday, which is almost a week tomorrow. What happened?
Um, Basically, what we know, what transpired on the day was I woke up in the morning and around 10 in his neighborhood, he went for a haircut at his favorite barber shop.
Hmm.
So when he was undergoing the barber's ministrations there, that's where a truck in Isuzu KP white in color came by and stopped by the barber shop, and five guys came out of the vehicle and they accused Itai of stealing a cow, and they said they were looking for him because he said he have stolen a cow. And when Itai responded and they started to engage him in conversation, they grabbed him forcefully and shoved him into the car and they sped off,
Oh,
going away with Itai. And no one since that day, Monday last week, no one knows where Itai is, whether he's still there, still alive, or whether he's in Zimbabwe, or whether he's somewhere else. Nobody knows his whereabouts.
there were obviously eyewitnesses because the barber shop was packed at the time.
Yes, there were a couple of guys there waiting to have their haircuts as well in the barber. So they happened to witness the grabbing of Itai by five guys who came in a white Isuzu KT truck. They then later on, after making sure that it was safe on their part, went on to tell Itai's wife.
Okay. Now I've seen that Itai's wife has stepped forward. What action did she take, or what action did I mean, his friends, because he's with Occupy Africa Unity Square, obviously. What action did the people take after after the abduction?
After Itai's wife had been told that her husband had been abducted, the first thing that she did was to go to the barber to confirm what was true. After she confirmed and realized that it was really true, she tried to call her husband's line and the number could not go through. Then immediately there and there, she then phoned Occupy Africa Unity Square Secretary General, who happened to be myself, and informed me that Itai had been abducted. And I then initiated the pre-arranged protocols that we have as a people's movement. But in case something like this would happen, we then start notifying the relevant people and getting other guys to be aware, to be careful.
Okay, so when you talk about what actions do you normally take besides informing other people? Do you have anything in place for your security?
We then went on to make a report at the police station, and after that we tried by all means to put it online on the social media to get a lot of people involved, as many as we could. Basically on the ground as Occupy Africa Unity Square, what we normally do is we encourage members in a situation like this to go on a low profile, to go low so that they go to safe places and safe houses where they are not known, and stay low until we assume that the coast is clear for them to come up. So in this case, after the abduction, guys went low until our second day when we realized that Itai had not yet been found again. Then we decided no, the time was running out. We couldn't lie low any longer. It was time for us to initiate some mass demonstration and petitioning of Parliament, begging them to engage the state to release Itai.
Okay, so I know that you put a police report. What was the response from the police?
Police told us that we had to initially wait for 48 hours and then come back after 48 hours if the guy does not clean up. So after 48 hours, we then went back again and told them that our colleague had not turned up. They then wrote down in their files and said they are now initiating a search for Itai. They were doing an investigation find out his whereabouts. But from that day on, the police have not been cooperating. They have not been telling us their progress, not telling us whether they were making any progress or not. They have just been trying by all means to make sure that we don't get any information or any help from them, going out of their way to even threaten to beat some of our colleagues who went up to the central police station to inquire his whereabouts.
Okay, what I find very peculiar is that they said wait for 48 hours when the actual report and the witnesses say that a man was abducted against his will and bundled into a car by unknown people. So I find it difficult to think that the police would then be letting you know to wait for 48 hours. Uh, I know that the Commissioner General Chuhuri has made a statement about this abduction, saying that the police's work is for detecting, investigating, and preventing crime. And Minister Mnanga, Vice President Mnangagwa called this a barbaric act. I think Ziambe, Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, said that the government was concerned and then assured that the relevant offices would look into the barbaric act. I repeat, I quote actually. So, what do you think? What action is there that the Occupy Africa Unity Square is deciding to take after all these statements have been made and after your observations that the police are not cooperating and telling you to go back home and wait for 48 hours when the witnesses say that a man had been abducted of a barber shop? What action are you planning on?
Basically, we are now planning on a two-pronged action. So since the state is refusing to cooperate and these high-profile people are coming out saying that they will do their utmost to make sure that Itai is found, and yet we know that they are just playing lip service. Because, for example, how can they say they will do their utmost to make sure that they will find Itai when in the first place they haven't even sent not even a constabulary to the crime scene to make sure that he does the investigation from the scene to find out what transpired. They have never been there in the hood or in the pub to find out what happened to Itai. It's to show you that they are not even concerned with a thorough investigation of the whole case. So to us, it's a clear indication that the state might do a lip service of saying to the media they are cooperating, and yet on the ground they are practically doing nothing. So we as Occupy Africa Unity, we are not resting until we make sure that Itai is released. We are pursuing all avenues that are open to us in a peaceful manner to try to push and lobby the state as well as the government as well as the SADC region and as well as the international community to help us push the state to release Itai alive for that matter.
Okay, we've seen that obviously this abduction has caused a lot of interest. I mean, the American embassy made a comment denouncing the abduction. The EU made a statement, and 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 a lot of people are actually trying so hard to get to the bottom of this. Now that we have the president as the chairperson for SADC and the AU, has there been any efforts also trying to establish communication regarding, you know, the leader of the country in that capacity?
Yes, as Occupy Africa Unity Square, we have written letters of appeal to the Minister of Home Affairs, as well as engaging the office of SADC here in Zimbabwe to try by all means to get a mediation on their part that they can help us resolve this issue between us and the state, because it's like a stalemate right now. The state is saying they don't know. They want us to provide them with evidence. And yet it's not our duty to provide the state with evidence. It's the state's duty
Okay. Now I see that in the past weekend, people in England actually had staged a demonstration at the Zimbabwe embassy there, and I have not seen any reports of a similar one happening in Zimbabwe. Has there been any demonstrations?
Yes, there was a demonstration last week in Zimbabwe, in the capital city in Harare, right outside Parliament. And guess what? What really happened?
Mm-hmm.
The state reacted to the peaceful demonstration by sending in riot police guys to come and beat up the peaceful demonstrators who simply had a petition to present to Parliament. And they beat up the youth who were in the street demonstrating, as well as we are planning again other demonstrations in other towns as well as in other cities in Zimbabwe.
Okay, so I know that Itai's work, he's been abducted before. I mean, arrested, I would put it in the sense that he was taken off the Africa Unity Square. He's been beat up and he's been in hospital in the past year. And he declared that he's still going to stand up and keep fighting and exercising his rights to express. But he also joined forces with the likes of the former Prime Minister Morgan Tsvangirai of the MDC-T, and other youth organizations, and also the university students. Can you tell us what these groups are planning collectively?
Yes, we have joined forces with the likes of Zinaswe and the MDC and all the other relevant political parties in Zimbabwe. Basically, what we came up with was a National Action Youth Alliance, whereby all national youth political parties are coming up to one table and forming one movement that will push the government into admitting its failure and pave way for a collective roundtable sitting of all stakeholders to form a new Zimbabwe and a better economy for this country. So we have engaged all these other political parties, and we have done several actions with them, being a National Youth Action Alliance.
Okay, so now is there a collective protest with all these groups in response to the abduction?
Yes, there is. Actually, you are privileged to have me tell you that tomorrow there will be a press conference that will involve all the stakeholders that are in the National Action Alliance, all together with one voice towards the abduction of Itai.
Okay. So sorry, just hold on. I'm getting a call. Okay, carry on. So what time and where is this going to happen?
The time and venue is yet to be announced tomorrow morning, but it's going to take place tomorrow around 10:30.
Okay, so the venue and the time is still not public.
Yes, since I am simply the Secretary General for Africa Unity Square, I am not the spokesperson or the Secretary General for the National Action Alliance. So I'm not at liberty to disclose.
Okay. We'll proceed. So we I guess you are going to put out a message of the time and place where this is going to the press conference is going to happen.
Yes, certainly we are.
Okay. Now, the way forward, nobody obviously has a clue what might have been Itai Dzamara's situation. In the case that he's found dead, what are the people prepared to do?
That's a tricky one now. Obviously, we are not expecting or anticipating that he will be found dead. because deep down in our hearts we believe he is still alive and he will come back to us walking in on his 2 feet. So for us to start imagining that scenario is a little bit too far-fetched for us.
Okay.
But even the scenario that it does happen, I don't think the world will just let it be another story in another day like any other day. Because this is like inhuman. It's totally against the core values and the principles of the constitution of this country. So we hope and pray that the authors as well as the people of this Zimbabwe will not let something like that come to pass and just happen and go unasked or unchecked.
Right. Now, you've obviously heard so many voices from different sectors of society in and at home and abroad. What have the entertainers in Zimbabwe, the people from the faith, from churches, the religion, what are they saying? Are they reaching out? Are they in support? Are they condemning? Are they criticizing? Are they asking for answers? Or are they just silent?
Yes, like anyone else who knows the current situation in this country, people have this tendency of trying by all means not to publicly air their voices and their thoughts out. But people have been coming and calling and reaching out and showing their solidarity towards the abduction of Itai. Some section of the society has even gone on as far as creating what now they call Friends of Itai Dzamara group, which is busy lobbying for the release of Itai currently at the moment.
Okay. Now, in other countries, in other parts of the world, people have also been very active in terms of using social media to send messages or to report using camera phones. So I don't understand how a whole human being can be abducted in today's world and not even one cell phone picture footage of that happening. Is it that people are so engraved with fear because the world doesn't seem to understand that this can happen? And no one would, I mean, are there possibilities that this could have happened and people are afraid to step up?
Yes, usually when something like this happens, especially in Zimbabwe, it's not something that happens every day, and people usually are a bit slow to react, considering that this took place in the community, in the neighborhood. I am sure if any of those guys around had taken a picture, save for the guy who managed to catch a glimpse of the partially covered registration plate of the vehicle, there is nothing at the moment that we have except that only.
I see. Because I think that would be part of the way forward in terms of trying to uncover some of these crimes committed in broad daylight in public. So people in the media or wherever, they expect to see that, like somebody whipped out a camera and took footage of people getting beat up by the police under a peaceful demonstration. So it helps to tell the story.
Okay, let me ask you a simple question. Would you really expect something like that to come out from Zimbabwe when Itai was abducted on Monday, and it was only on Wednesday that the local media in Zimbabwe came out with the story of the abduction, after the international media community started reporting on it since Monday? Would you expect anything better from such?
I wouldn't expect anything better. What would you think is a cause of this kind of response?
Well, I wouldn't really like to go much or comment much on the political aspect because it's now common in public knowledge that the state, the regime actually has control of everything. So it was clear to us from day one that a person is disappeared, a person has been abducted, indeed they died, but then the newspapers don't report it. The missing person report does not even go public, not even one poster has been posted out. It's in black and white, which is very cheap to do, that a person is missing. Anyone with information, can you please contact the police or so and so. Nothing has been done. It is only our efforts that we are doing to print out our own posters, put out our own flyers, do the level best that we can, and yet the state and the government is not even doing anything that it should be doing. It's not even looking after the people that it took on when it went into the office to protect and to preserve and to uphold their rights. It's so strange and so sad.
Okay. Anyway, we support what you are doing, your efforts in trying to uncover the truth, and also trying to stand up for justice and the rights of many Zimbabweans at large. We also like to extend our support to Mrs. Dzamara and the family. How many children does Itai have?
He had two kids. The eldest one was 8 years old, and the little one is 4 years old.
Okay. Anyway, so we will continue obviously to check on you guys and also try to figure out what steps you are taking so that we can also try to tell the story and not leave it untold. But we appreciate.